What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dom, host of the TruPlayaz podcast, hitting you with the upfront, blatantly honest, in your face, no punches held opinions on sports, current events, relationships, and many other topics along the way. Check out this next episode of my podcast.
You can never be too G'd up for love. Get out of here. Take a little flight. Let's get lost in love. Let's go. Ma, it's no problem to hold you, tongue stroke you, please you like I'm supposed to. Touch spots that ain't ever been touched, and I won't stop till both these squirrels get their nuts. Hey, you know it's good when we freakin', king size squeaking after I ease in. If you was with me, baby, 24/7, best believe that every single day would be a sweet day. Girl, you sweeter than a cheesecake. If you want beef, prophecy would be a beefcake. I make love to you till you fall asleep, leave you with sweet dreams between the sheets.
Was the night before that night. I was born on that day, but not last night. Once upon a time, I had my cash right.
What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dom coming live and at you with a TruPlayaz podcast episode with my brother JoeyG. I know you guys haven't seen us in a while together, but we're back at it. We're gonna recap the entire season of Power Season 3. I'll give you our thoughts and what we believe may happen in Season 4. But before I get into that, we're gonna have JoeyG introduce himself to the people. So JoeyG, do you think?
What's up? What's up? What up? This is your man JoeyG, co-host TruPlayaz podcast, host of Beer Combo and Family, soon to be presenting Ego Tripping with JoeyG. Looking forward to this episode. It's been a minute, you know what I mean? Been behind the scenes just watching, getting technical things in order, and we ready. We're ready. We're here.
Got you. Excellent. So yeah, before we even get into the episode, bro, we want to talk about future episodes. In about a month from now, we're going to be celebrating the 5-year anniversary of the TruPlayaz podcast, running strong for five strong years. And this one, I'm just so excited about the whole situation because it's the opportunity to share with people the travels of being a podcast for 5 years. Where we start off as doing audio podcasting, we now converted to video podcasting and vlogging as well. And also, it did introduce Beer Convo and Family, and then now Ego Tripping with JoeyG. So I'm definitely excited about the whole situation, and was definitely come forward in the future with TruPlayaz podcast, as well as a spinoff that I did mention on previous episodes. That spinoff is definitely coming soon as well. All right, so any thoughts, JoeyG, before we get started with the episode?
No, I mean we've come a long way as far as the podcasting, technical aspect, networking, meeting new people, having a lot of good guest hosts. You know what I mean? I'm proud to be a part of the beginning until now, to be a part of that. Big influence watching TruPlayaz podcast, being a part of it to grow and try to branch off and have my own. Still working out the kinks on that, but we getting there. We getting there. I think I like being behind the scenes more than I like being in front of the camera, so we're working that out.
Got you.
We're working that out. The technical aspect, I'm there all day. Like I could be the background, I could be the fly in the room. I'm good with that. But I look forward to more episodes, being a part of the show, putting more show and content out there for the people. Also gaming, because I forgot about that, because I do the gaming on the side, and I'll be posting the games that I play. I haven't hosted yet. I'm working on getting more people. And once I do that, then I'll start hosting it. But it's things to look forward to.
Definitely, definitely, and I'm definitely gonna be part of that gaming aspect of it too. That's another extension through this podcasting family that we have here with
Mhm.
TruPlayaz Podcast, Beer Convo Family, Ego Tripping with JoeyG. There's a lot of things where we coming up with, as well as a spinoff to the TruPlayaz Podcast where we get into more interviewing style. We talk more about finances. Get your finances in order. We're gonna go into different subjects on that podcast. But we're gonna keep doing what we're doing here with the original TruPlayaz Podcast.
Mhm.
I would love to get you guys give me a vote on what should be the name of the TruPlayaz Podcast spinoff. I'm willing to take any suggestions. All right, so we get this on and popping. But let's get into it, bro. We haven't done a recap since Power Book 4 season 1, right?
Wow,
Season 1. It's been a minute. It's been a while. It's been a while we did that podcast, and what I've seen in this season
Mhm.
is mistakes by Tariq. Big
Mhm.
mistakes by Tariq. I think he was so into trying to be better than his father,
Right.
he lost sight of what was in front of him. So, I think that's why he would never outsmart his father, because his father always kept his eyes on what was in front of him
Right.
first,
Right.
and then worried about the future.
Mhm.
So let's break it down to you, bro. The Tejada family doing some wild bullshit.
Mhm.
Doing some wild bullshit. And my thing is, I believe that this family is going to be it's self-destructing as we speak.
Mhm.
And let's start off with the guy that got clipped first in the series was Lorenzo. Okay. Let's talk. We're gonna talk about the Tejada family. There's a lot of stuff that happened before that, including the introduction to the new antagonist in the series, which is Noma. So let's talk about the Tejadas first. I think we want to get to that first. So what do you think about Lorenzo getting killed first in the family?
We knew it was coming because there was a power struggle anyway with Monet and the rest of the Tejada family. Kane, Kane wanted that seat. He would do anything to be in that seat. His other brother wasn't ready to be in that seat. He knew he could, but he didn't want to be in that seat at that time. He was distracted by his relationships. Diana. Diana just wanted to do the school thing. She understood a little bit from what she saw, what they allowed her to see. Let's be clear. But she wasn't ready. She's still green. Um, so I think that Lorenzo was a necessary first kill.
I think he was. I don't think I felt. Again, I'm gonna get at the writers in regards to this. Felt that he had a bigger story to be spoken of throughout the series, and I felt they killed him off too soon. Instead, they killed off Mecca too soon.
Mhm.
I felt he was killed off too soon because I felt he wasn't given the opportunity, to explain his side of the story. What he did was an innocent killing, but you know what? It just goes to show you Monet values Zeke over her other kids.
Did
How she values him.
because I want to say deep down, like Ghost, she wanted out of the game. And if she couldn't get out the game, then she wanted her kids to get out of the game. But the one that was untouched was Zeke. So Zeke, she can encourage to be out of the game completely. Lorenzo wouldn't have a part of it. He's not going to give a stake in Zeke. He's not going to invest in Zeke when it comes to the game. You know what I'm saying? So it was necessary to keep him out of that whole fold. And being that it was a previous relationship, Zeke being that child of that relationship, there was gonna be tension.
Hmm.
So you could say that Monet probably knew, like Lorenzo would probably want to kill him or set
Hmm.
him up to be killed. Kids will accept them because that's family, regardless. We could say
That's their
whatever
father.
story. Yeah, we could say whatever story.
Hmm.
So that's my thought.
Okay. Okay. But who's really responsible for Zeke's death? Let's start there.
That boils right back down to Monet because the
It
truth was
also
never
boils down to
told.
his daddy.
And yeah, the truth wasn't told on both ends.
Right.
Truth wasn't told on both ends, so it wound up trickling down. And then when it finally came out, it hurt.
Hmm. Hmm. But the thing is though, it's the way it came out, and that's where
Mm,
Diana got some dirty hands in his game, and she before I don't want to get to the end of the season, but she put some things in motion that you're gonna underestimate the OGs in the
mm,
game. You're gonna pay with your life.
true.
You're gonna fucking pay with your life, and you just saw. My bad. Pardon that, everyone. Didn't expect that. All right. So yeah. So then she doesn't know. She messed around with the OG. You set up Tommy to go kill his family and Tasha.
Oh,
And once
Monet.
that truth comes out, once that truth comes out, yo, she gonna see something that she never seen before.
Right.
And let's before we get into that part of it, let's get to the introduction to the new antagonist Noma, who came across. She came out in the park. That ring that Davis had from Tariq.
Hmm.
He gave it they also that ring ended up in the auction,
Hmm.
and the dude and his girlfriend had the ring, and Noma stepped up. Is like, yo, let me get. I need that ring back.
Hmm.
Well, I paid a lot of money for this ring, and this bitch came in and cut that dude's hand off, or the girl's hand off. I was like, yo, that's some new next level savage shit
I think it was a
that we
dude's
we
hand.
haven't seen in Power. Hmm?
I think yeah, it was the dude's hand because she took the
Dude's
ring
hand,
after
okay.
that. You ain't gonna give it up and just gonna chop your hand off and take the ring. You can have your hand back though.
Yeah, this chick is dangerous, bro. This chick is
Mm,
dangerous, and I'm glad that they didn't kill her off the first season. But next season is gonna be something to desire with her. Um, now we're gonna get the full story of her
we
and
should.
OB and all that situation. But and then we saw Davis' brother gets out of prison, and then this is what I don't like about the season. After the performance that Redman did in
Hmm.
the last season that he was there as Davis's brother, why was he replaced? That's like that was that I wouldn't say the dude did the best he could with that role, but I felt that if Redman wasn't recast, I think that it would have been a different story when it comes to him.
Gotcha.
That's what I truly believe. The fact that Redman was removed, they changed the story of season 3 in regards to Davis McLean's arc.
Right.
Because season 3 was supposed to be more about Davis McLean and his background story with his brother.
Right. Which they didn't really get into. They
No.
kind of brushed over it, and it was over before it started. First of all, switching the characters. I understand that he had a health issue or whatever the case may be, but to go from Redman to whoever that guy was, um, that was like a big change that was noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like we were in Marvel Universe and it was like an alternate universe. It
No, it
wasn't.
was real time in the Power Universe.
It was real time in the Power Universe, and it kind of took away from that storyline because that could have been a whole another branch of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I really I wanted to see Redman and Method Man on screen in the Power Universe. I just wanted to see it. It's about that time. How long has it been since
Mm-hmm.
we seen How High? with them two
Been a while, bro.
with them two on the screen. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
together. So that I wanted to see that. I was looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for the Power Universe, just for hip hop culture in particular.
Mm-hmm.
It was about that time. And you know those two collabing together, perfect.
I think the chemistry between them, the
Yes.
fact that they did albums together and all that stuff, you couldn't. I don't give a damn. I don't know if it was because of he didn't take the vaccine and shit like that. You just don't mess up a story like that. You just don't make a mess up. You don't mess up a story like that.
And
You
it
had the
just
opportunity to extend that story.
yeah. And the character gets killed off. It was like you can understand why he wasn't a part of that season. You gonna kill my character off? Nah. Find somebody
Mm.
else.
Yeah, basically.
I
So,
mean,
all right. So we talk about that part, and let's talk about the discovery of Lauren actually being alive. How shocked were you when you saw that she was still alive?
I kind of felt like it. She should be alive, or they plan for her to be alive. I felt like it
Mm-hmm.
because it throws a wrench in everybody's plans.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's plans. I mean, now you got the detectives over there and the DEA and everybody just running frenzy like, oh, we got a case, we got a case. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
see where this goes though.
So my question
Mm,
is she due for a bigger role in later seasons in
Lauren.
this game that we're playing right now, Lauren?
Mm,
Does that set it up for that?
Not necessarily because we don't have a catalyst yet. We need something to make her like Tate.
Mm-hmm.
We know what kind of person Tate is. We can
Mm-hmm.
assume his background, not
Mm-hmm.
just from the streets to police, being a DEA, being a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
We can assume that.
Mm-hmm.
We could assume that with him. But with Lauren we can't. She's still early. She's still early
I
in the
mean,
game.
she been through a lot.
She has. She has, but at this point it's just still looking at her as a student and a victim.
True. All right, that's a good interesting take. But as you saw in the season, as far as her arc is going, she's going dark.
I mean,
And that's what I felt.
if you did like what was that movie with Jennifer Lopez? Where she was getting abused and she wound up getting trained and then she comes back. If it's
Mm-hmm.
something like that, I'm on board
Mm-hmm.
because we seen her walk out the door, so we assume she's leaving. Now, if she gets trained up in that time that she's gone and gets reintroduced later on, okay, we have
Mm-hmm.
something to talk about.
I tell you, I think she's going to be the one that takes out Effie.
I don't want to see it. I kind of
She's
like
going to be the
Effie's
one. I
character.
mean, I like Effie too, but Effie has Effie has a bullet coming to her too, because the fact of the matter is she's too quick to stab people in the back to suit her motives.
Right.
She's too quick with that. And the thing that bothered me about the Effie situation was, you do some Grammy shit, and you expect the man to still love you. That's in real life. That's not going to happen. I'm gonna forget that you try to kill the girl who I really loved,
Right.
and you have the girl who I really love hate my guts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know that's something that you can't come back from, and that's not the first time she stabbed Tariq in the back. It's not the first time.
No, it's not.
And you could say that she's the one that pushed Tariq into the streets. She was partially the reason why he pushed back in the streets, because he got kicked out of Choate. The Choate was waiting to keep him off the streets.
True.
She got him kicked out. So she said a lot of things in motion to mess up Tariq's life too. I mean, I'm not absolving Tariq of anything that went on in his life. But you know, you got to take you got this other things, peripheral things that's there that contributed to him ending that into that lifestyle. Okay.
Right.
Effie, you know, she listens. I mean, she's about the street, but she wants to leave the street. You can't be about the core of the street and then you want to leave the street at the same time. Is it like Tommy said at the end? Is either you're in or you're out.
True.
She here looking for the escape plan from once you get started when you get started in the streets. You can't leave that shit. The only way to leave the streets is to be killed or be in prison. The streets not gonna let you walk away. It's like the mafia. You either blood in or blood out.
True.
You can't just get up and leave. So
I'm in agreement with that.
So that was my take on Effie's take, but I know I'm sure there's more we can say about Effie in regards to that. So next character we want to talk about is Kane. All right, Kane with his evolution. Instead of being he's thinking more of a kingpin than a street soldier in this season.
Okay.
I think he's finally he learned from he took a lot from Mecca and learned from Mecca, and now he's moving, like I said, like a kingpin. Which in the end, because he was blackmailing his father, he was able to get product from the family through Noma to provide the family and their primeras with product. And it wasn't until Lorenzo protected him from that ambush from the Russians and the DEA that Kane knew, was like, oh shit, my dad really loves me. He really looked out for me.
Right.
And he felt some type of way. But Kane, he reversed his messy ways. He did have a thing for Effie. He loves Effie. I think Effie's gonna be his weakness.
Is she though? I mean, is it really a love thing, or is it just something to get at Tariq?
No, I think that dude. It's both. But I think he loves Effie too.
I think it's one of the like you said, but I think it's like a bittersweet thing. It's a bittersweet thing. It's sweet because I can see myself messing with this chick, but at the same time, it's just to mess with this dude. Like I know it's getting under his skin. I mean,
and not for none, Kane had.
That.
Not for none, Kane has been obsessed with Tariq since day one.
Right, and you got to understand that he came from the other side of the tracks. So he's like, you're not fit to be in this game. It's one of those standpoints. It's kind of like Tommy talking to Ghost of truth. It's kind of like that same turmoil. Well, you coming from
Mm-hmm.
that part, and now you're trying to be street.
Mm-hmm.
M Street.
Right.
That's the
But
best way
Ghost,
I could put it
go,
on there. Go ahead.
yeah, but Ghost was always street though. He wanted to leave that life.
No, we know who Ghost was, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he
For
wasn't
the people that
just
don't know.
that. So he had like three different personas.
Mm-hmm.
He had the Beast, Ghost,
Mm-hmm.
and James St. Patrick. There's three.
Mm-hmm.
There was a trinity with him.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the Beast come out when it was getting close to the end of the end of Power season 6. That's when you
Mm-hmm.
seen the Beast coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was calling people out, and he's just like, "Oh shit, we didn't even know you had this side of you."
Mm-hmm.
The way he flipped on
Which,
Tasha, the way he flipped on Tommy,
mm-hmm.
the way he flipped on his son, that
Mm-hmm.
was the Beast. That wasn't Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Negate that. That wasn't Ghost. Ghost does thing on a spy level. Has people
Mm-hmm.
thinking like, "Yo, who did that?"
Mm-hmm.
Our favorite dude, what's his name? The Lobos.
Oh yeah.
Our favorite dude, the dude when he said Fantasmo,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like Fantasmo. I understood why he did it like that because when you say ghost in Spanish, the way you say it in Spanish, it emphasizes who the fuck he was.
Mm-hmm.
Ghost was that dude, like he was kind of like a 007 on that level,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't have the Bond faced.
No. No, I see your point. I see your point. So let's get back to the Kane and stuff. Um, how can I say it? For me, on a whole, it was a good season. It was a good season, but there was some misses with the writing that I didn't like,
Can I
and
say
I
this real
keep
quick?
seeing misses. Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna have two big coming at the tail end of season 2 or season 3? 2-bit.
That should, yeah, that should have been something that should have been planned from the beginning of the episode. Or
I
let's
was like,
give a teaser.
where did he come from?
Yeah, why was he sent?
Why was he saying like? There's a whole story we don't know about him. Where'd he go?
Yeah,
What was he doing?
and how did Saxe find him?
Right.
How did Saxe find him? I mean, a lot of things that don't that's just left open. And I understand a lot of the OG writers from the original Power
Mm,
are now going to be involved with the writing of the next season.
mm.
Let's hope they can be able to tap loose hands and improve the writing on that end. And we talk about Davis. They found out that Saxe was a mole. Let's talk about our old boy Saxe.
Oh man.
He finally caught his.
He finally got. I didn't want him to go out like that though. That was like an ambush
I like. Mm-hmm.
surprise. He didn't get his. He didn't get a chance to retaliate. Kind of like what's his name in the first and Ghost, the lawyer
Proctor.
Proctor. He didn't get to go out like Proctor. If he went out like Proctor, that would have been a better thing for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he deserved to go out like that. Wait,
I,
he actually
mm-hmm.
gained a heart. Understand this. He actually
Mm-hmm.
gained a heart. We seen him gain a heart and
Mm-hmm.
understand where Tariq was coming from, why he was caught in the middle of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren was that key to be like, to bring him back to who he was, and then he got shot in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
To end it off.
Sure did. But the thing that threw me off, though, I thought, again, we're gonna go back to the writing of it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it that bullet? Was that bullet was supposed to come from Davis, not from his brother?
If we weren't talking about the storyline, yes. If we weren't talking about the storyline on a street level, Davis should have been the one who pulled the trigger, and he wanted to,
Mm-hmm.
because he got crossed. He
Right.
got crossed. You know what I mean? And getting crossed, he was like, "Yo, I considered you a brother. I brought you into the fold. I had you get my brother out and all this. I gave you information that was privileged." So he felt betrayed.
Mm-hmm.
And on a street level, you handle that with a bullet.
Yeah.
With a bullet. You gotta get rid of that dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
But then didn't Tariq talk him out of it? He was gonna do it, but Tariq talked him out of it.
Because he can't. You can't. You gotta have your hands clean. How you gonna represent me and still doing dirt? You can't do that.
No. But there's dirt on McClane too. He had the.
Go ahead. Yeah. There's plenty of dirt on McClane, but he's bold with it.
I see why. Listen.
Look at his interaction
I understand he was
with
doing
Tate.
shit for Monet.
Yeah. Look at his interaction with Tate.
Mm-hmm. Both sign balls, but they get the job done. They get the job done and shit like that. But let me hit you up on this aspect of the game too.
Okay.
He provides Monet with intel about who killed Lorenzo.
Mm-hmm.
He provides intel to well, mostly that was a big thing. Intel about who killed Zeke. He provides intel about Whitman. Investigating her, and then she eventually clips Whitman. In which, man, if there was ever an opportunity to bring back anybody back to life, it should have been Zeke that should have been brought back to life. If you were gonna go that route,
yeah. You could say that. I would agree with you.
And they lost that opportunity.
What's his name? Whitman, yeah. Whitman, he had to go.
Yeah.
He had to go. He had intel pretty much on everybody. Even including the cops he worked with. He had intel on them too.
Yeah.
He was scorned. He was scorned because of the Zeke situation.
Mm-hmm.
Zeke was with the professor. I forgot her name. Milgram.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Milgram.
Carrie Milgram. She was with Cal. Gotta get rid of him. Gotta get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In that situation, she was trying to get rid of him to begin with. They worked together.
Yeah.
So it carried on into this season. Somebody had to get rid of him. Just like Saxe. Somebody had to get rid of him.
But this is the thing I have though with Whitman and stuff like that. Not with Whitman, but the writing.
Right.
He was not. He wasn't trying to go after Tariq. He wanted to go after Monet.
Right.
He felt by getting Monet, he would have got Tariq anyway.
Right. He wasn't his main target.
Mm-hmm. Again, he was a man in his emotions. Yeah, it should have been.
It should have been, but a man in his emotions. You're right.
He was a man in his emotions because she killed his baby. Maybe he wanted to get one last hit off of Carrie Milgram. You know what I'm saying? I mean, granted, she did come across as community pussy. So let's be real about that.
Well, I think she had a disease called nymphomania, but that's just me.
Yeah. So that's another. So as we end with Whitman, his role officially ended. Now let's get to the crust of the season.
Okay.
Was really about Braden and his family, his uncle.
Oh, such a
as
transition.
Braden find out. Such a transition for Braden. Yeah. He went totally dark. He's gonna be even darker come next season.
He has some Tommy tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
For a rich kid, he has some Tommy tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting for him to be like, we gotta cancel Christmas.
We'll see if they actually if they actually cross over into Power Book 4 season 2. We'll find out.
Or Force.
We'll find out.
Or Force.
In Force.
Because they're leaving.
No, I'm talking about season 2. Yeah.
Force. They're leaving. Well, Book 2.
Yeah.
We're leaving. So where you going?
You're going to Chicago.
I mean,
Uncle Tommy.
Tommy said I can't do nothing in New York. I'm dead in New York.
Right. He's dead in New York.
Right.
Which I don't get. I don't get how one person can be dead in one state and then alive in another state. Which, you know, it's just we got to realize this is just fantasy.
It is. Transformers. Oh, okay.
So right. So
But,
yeah. So
seeing them leave and going, and based off the conversation that Tommy had with Tariq, I can see them winding up in Chicago. What do they have in New York at this current time? His mom's is out. His sister's out. His grandma's out. So his family is good. As far as Braden is concerned, he's either done with the family business altogether, or he's just trying to let the dust settle.
Well, technically, bro, his family got no money anymore. They froze all the accounts.
So Braden's gonna have to be the one to inject money back into that.
Exactly. Now, we mentioned that too when we talk about him going dark. What role does his brother play into it now, as far as Trace goes? I know he's gonna be he could be a snitch, but you ain't got no money coming in. What are you gonna do for money?
Like Saxe, that nigga gotta go.
You think Braden's gonna kill it? Braden already killed his uncle. You think he's gonna kill his own brother?
Listen, Lucas had to go. His brother should be right behind him. As a matter of fact, his brother should have left before Lucas did.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for his brother opening his mouth, they wouldn't be a target. Let's be clear. Braden has given him a pass on more than one occasion.
Yeah. True that. But now we're gonna stick to this though. Braden got some pussy. You know. Nice little black girl. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was gonna clip her too. I thought the way you know how the writing goes sometimes, bro.
The temperature
most
rose
of the time
like
with
that
black
could
folks,
happen.
it could have been some real shit that he popped her too.
Right.
And then you're gonna see a whole uproar. You already know what's going. You already know how that shit's gonna go, bro.
Right.
So they have to pivot off that shit and make sure he killed his uncle.
Right. But I
You know what I'm
love
saying?
I love the build up.
Mm-hmm.
I love the build up. And went from her to him and went back to her where she was curious and he was just like, didn't we have this conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Like he pulled a Tommy in that scene. He
Mm-hmm.
pulled a Tommy. He said, "What
Mm-hmm.
did you say?"
Shit. Talk about he didn't commit suicide. Then she's like, oh, I think you should get out. Let's leave. Brady ain't gonna leave New York. Where Brady gonna leave to? His family's broke.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Where's he gonna go to? The only thing he can go to is the streets because he needs to create that income.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I thought for sure she was gonna get popped, but they kept her alive. And now we're gonna stick with Braden a little bit later on. We're gonna talk more about Braden later on in the show because I want to talk about the I don't know if I'm trying to remember part of the podcast. We spoke a little bit about Noma. We didn't talk about Obi. Obi
Okay.
came across as a hard ass. Like we don't trust this kid. I don't think the kid is good enough to do the job. And now at the end of the season, he becomes Tariq's biggest ally.
Oh, you're talking about the Noma's right
Obi.
hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got you. Well,
Because Tariq got him that green card.
got him the green cards.
Cards, yeah.
The cards. I felt like he underestimated him and then realized
Mm-hmm.
this kid comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Like regardless of what the situation is, he's coming through with something. So I have
Mm-hmm.
to pay attention to that. What
Mm-hmm.
if he took out Noma?
Mm-hmm.
I should be on his good graces.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the best way to put it currently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised we haven't seen the lawyer Daniel Warren. We haven't seen the lawyer this whole season. The lawyer didn't pop
lawyer,
up.
which lawyer?
Um, the ones in charge of the trust.
That's true. That's another thing. How are you able to move that trust into something
And
without having a lawyer involved?
him not be privy to the whole situation, and
That's something missing.
not have a backup on that situation. I don't get that part.
That we forget, yo. I think we have to do a part 2 to this, bro, because we forget we're running the show on time here, and
Oh, I got questions.
RSJ, 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 bro.
Uh huh.
I think that dude came across as the rich black guy. Tariq's way of getting into Western Holdings, do his internship after he got screwed by Tate. That
Okay.
guy's money was involved in that Ponzi scheme. He lost that money. Next season, yo, Tate. Let me tell you something, bro. That bullet's coming from somebody. I understand.
An attempt. Because Tate has held it down.
Mm-hmm.
You know he's capable of pulling the trigger himself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not. It could be a good conflict, but I'm just saying Tate is not gonna go out like Saxe did.
No way. But we can't underestimate. We cannot underestimate the prowess of RSJ
Okay, it's still early.
and how much money that he lost in that scheme, unbeknownst to him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when people lose that amount of money, you may see a different side of them you never seen before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This, losing millions of dollars is not an easy. It's not an easy pill to swallow. I don't care how deep your pockets are. It's not an easy pill to swallow. You got some people in this world regularly who lose $100, get ready to kill somebody for $100.
So how far do you think his reach is? Because if they're leaving, and I'm assuming they're going to Chicago, you think he's gonna tap into that pond?
We don't know who RSJ got in his pockets. We don't know. Oh, but we do know his backstory. That his father was in prison and was a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
We know that already.
Okay.
Why did he come back and be a straight and narrow on the all of a sudden and became this millionaire, this guy who's who got deep pockets all of a sudden? What caused him to do that? What did his father do to enable him to do that switch? Because in order for you to make money, you got to have money from the jump.
True.
So that's bro. We gotta do it. We gotta do a part 2. We gotta do a part 2 on this, bro.
I mean, I don't have a problem doing a part 2. We still haven't talked about Evelyn.
Nope.
And Evelyn came from, what was that? The New York City Undercover.
New York Undercover, yeah.
New York Undercover back in the day. I was like, having her
we
on
haven't
the
really
show.
seen him. And I felt that, again, this is the writing. You haven't seen enough of. You didn't see her flexing the way she's supposed to flex.
Right.
As the other family.
Right.
You know what I'm
She
saying?
had every right to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she came in how she was supposed to. She came with respect.
Mm-hmm.
She showed remorse. What do you call it? Condolences. She showed her condolences or whatever the situation was. But at the same part, after that, after you find out the information, she should have came back flexing a little bit harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was too, as they say in Spanish, tranquilo, too a little cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like she should have came harder. Like, I wanted to see Rosie Perez in that situation. talking to what's his name? Woody Harrelson.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, let me ask you a question because I want to. Part 2, we're gonna be even more on point with what we got to say. But before we get to that point, did you feel now, as far as casting goes, did you feel Rosie Perez would have been a better fit for that role than Luna Velez?
Yes. And the reason why, look at Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
That was her most recent joint.
Mm-hmm.
You could see her
she was
flexing.
Dark.
She was dark.
Mm-hmm.
You could see her flexing. She was dark. I want to see that part. Now, Evelyn, Lauren Velez, the actress that played her, we've seen her in more lighter roles. We haven't seen her in a dark role. So it would have been out of character for her to do a darker role. But Rosie, we've seen the light side, and we've seen kind of a darker version of her. So it would be perfect to put her in that position. Now, this is just me, but Evelyn Castillo, maybe she has a sister, and it is Rosie Perez.
Mm. Something you could throw it in and write it. You know. We always talk about rewriting certain episodes, certain seasons.
They have a whole family that died, and nobody's gonna.
No one's gonna provide a response.
I'm just saying.
Think
you
about
killed
it.
The whole family.
That makes sense.
You killed a whole family. The father you seen when Ghost was alive.
Mm-hmm.
He come into what's his name? The Spanish dude.
Ruiz.
Ruiz. He came to Ruiz's spot.
Mm-hmm.
Ruiz even said,
Bro.
"Nah, I don't deal with that dude."
Mm-hmm.
He was alive then. He
Let me
got
tell you
killed.
something.
He got killed over here by Lorenzo.
Mm-hmm.
You killed his whole family. There's no.
Yeah. It makes no sense. The
Nah,
whole thing situation don't make no sense. And I felt
nah.
I think the writing, it was a good season, yes. For good season, yes, but there's a lot of holes in the writing in that season. A lot of
I think.
holes. A
I
lot of holes.
think.
It could have got more depth.
Okay, I get you on that. All I'm saying is the writing, as far from my perspective, the writing lacked the the whole view, the overview of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go back to Kanan when he was talking
Mm-hmm.
to Tyreek. You have to think 3 moves ahead
Mm-hmm.
on everything you do. So, if you're basing the story off of that, which I've seen in all the Power universe, then this one
Mm-hmm.
fell short because it was short-sighted.
Yeah.
You left holes. You left room for other
Mm-hmm.
stories to be told. You left questions. Nah, the other writing
Mm-hmm.
staff didn't leave questions. They left answers. Like, nah, this is it. Solid, done. We finished with it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only thing they left open was the fact that could Ghost still be alive?
Yeah.
Well, it's called Ghost, so why wouldn't you leave it open ended?
True. True.
I'm just saying you could put
You know,
whatever
this.
universe you want to put in there. You want to put Force, you want to put Book 2, you want to whatever you want to do in that universe. Ghost will always be Ghost, and he can transfer to any one of those.
You're right.
It don't matter.
True. True. On that note, let's transition, bro. We got a lot to talk about. I can't wait to put out the part 2 of this podcast. Can't wait. I really can't, because there's a lot of things we gotta talk about in the next podcast. We gotta talk about Noma's daughter
Mm,
and the plan that Tariq and Effie had for that. How
mm,
had Effie stabbed him in the back.
mm,
The interaction between Tommy and Tasha and how they
mm,
made up. You know what I'm saying? And what would be next for Tariq and Braden for
mm.
season 4? I'm going to tell you right now, I sense a darker Braden.
He's
Now
there.
we're going to see full, huh?
That he's there.
We're going to see, yeah, we're going to see Tariq in full savage mode.
Hmm.
Full savage mode. Not no, I'm in school, canonical studies, all that bullshit. We're going to see him in full savage mode. So we're gonna talk about, next episode, part 2 of this episode, what we think is gonna happen for season 4. What could happen, or how we would write season 4.
Right. I mean, there's a lot to touch on, a lot to expand on. You could even have backstories, spin-offs. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot to dive into. There's a lot to dive into.
True.
I mean, there's so many characters. I'm looking at the screen right now, and the characters that they have on the screen, you could do so much with these people.
Too much. But on that note, bro, we're gonna end the podcast here. Can't wait for part 2. You can watch this podcast. Please subscribe to my podcast on youtube.com / TruPlayaz podcast. Subscribe to my Patreon channel, patreon.com TruPlayaz podcast. You can listen to the audio version on Anchor, JoeyG Radio, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, and any other platforms that provide audio podcasts. Before we sign off on this podcast, I'm going to let JoeyG hit you guys up with a final word before we sign off.
What can I say? If you're breathing, you're still living.
Mm-hmm.
Do what matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
Keep yourself healthy. Take care of your family.
Mm-hmm.
Always build for tomorrow. This is your man JoeyG signing
Okay.
off. TruPlayaz Podcast. Peace.
Definitely. Like I said, it's your man Big Don. We're gonna sign off on this podcast. Can't wait to see you on the next episode. Peace.